Guys, so we're back with some organic Japanese cotton, which was the material I was missing, hence why I had to beat feet and pause the video for a second. So we're just going to pull this apart real quick, get this ready to go, make sure that there's enough here to do what I'm doing. Then we're going to need the Victory RDA, as I was saying before. Going to need a stand so I can set my other mod down, and we're going to get it ready to go. Alright, so we're going to take one last hit off this toe atomizer real quick. In case you're wondering what I'm vaping on a beautiful Rockstar flavor today. Amazing flavor. Love it. No nick whatsoever, as you guys well know. So we're going to get the toe baddie off here real quick. Clean off my mod. And I'm going to clean off my Victory RDA real quick. Get that all situated and ready to go so that I'm building on a nice clean addy. There we go. Get some of that excess liquid off there. And it's reading right now at a 0.54 ohm resistance. That's because of the single parallel coil. I'm not exactly sure what I got on this thing. Hold on. Alright. So we got that sufficiently undone. And now I'm going to take the excess cotton that's in here out. I'm just going to take the excess cotton from the outer pieces, because as you guys probably see, I wrapped the outer and inner pieces with cotton. That's not exactly what I need to do though, so I'm going to take the excess cotton that I have in here out, just kind of feed it out very slowly, not really trying to break the wick here, but I am trying to get as much of the excess cotton out as possible. So it's got two pieces right here, as you guys can probably see, and that's just fine. It's nothing to worry about here. But this is two pieces of cotton, so I do need to separate them as efficiently as possible. There we go. Now I'm gonna come in with my scissors. Gotta grab those real quick without the liquid touching my mod real quick. Now the reason I'm not showing you guys what I'm doing exactly is because I am preparing the mod for, well, the coils for re-wicking. Oh, I'm missing one of the most important tools, my tweezers. Be right back. Okay, so we're back now. Sorry about that. Got my tweezers. Now I'm ready to clip the excess pieces that I don't need off of this. There we go. And then I need to clip one more time. Actually, probably don't. Okay, so I think that's relatively good enough. So now I can come back in with my tool and poke those back into place. Set those down nice and neat underneath it, because now that I'm doing a dual coil build, you'll be able to see exactly how much how well these are able to do. Now these are extremely low resistance builds, and I don't typically do low resistance, but this time, well, for this one I'm going to be doing some extremely low resistance builds. I'm just going to wipe off some of the excess juice real quick. Alright, so this is what we got right now. We got this nice and ready to go. I'm just going to tuck that cotton down a little bit more so that we can have some nice even wicks. There we go. So you'll notice the coil is a very long one. I just need to count how many wraps I did. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So I did 7 wraps apparently. So that's what I'm going to need to do for this one. So I'm just going to take my coil wire, and I'm going to pull this loose. I'm going to give me a nice lengthy piece of coil. I'm going to come in with my long wire cutters and give it a good cut. There we go. Now it's okay if I drop the coil here because not really that worried about it at the moment. So I'm just going to come over here with the excess coil and just pull it through like this, through one of the holes, come down and grab my excess wire. Now, for the wrapping process, we're going to do a dive down, and I'm going to try to do it better this time. So I'm going to pick you guys up, set you down right over here, and you guys should be able to see that, thankfully. Okay, so what we're going to do is I'm going to grab that extra wire that I had right here, and I'm just going to try and fold it in half as neatly as possible all the way down. I'm going to line up the end pieces like this. Don't know how well you guys can see that. I'm going to line these up as evenly as possible right here. That way, now that they're together, you'll see that they're about as even as they can possibly get. And, oh, hold up. Messed up a little bit. Alright, so I'm going to come over here with my wire grips, and I'm just going to come over and try and keep these as even as possible while I'm doing this. Matter of fact, better just come down here to grip them. Okay, so we got these nice and tight. They're not going anywhere. Now I'm just going to follow the... oh, there we go. Okay, now I'm just going to follow the wire all the way down until it reaches the middle. And now that I've found the approximate middle of the two, I'm pretty safe in guessing that's the middle. So I'm going to try and crimp it together as best as possible without twisting them. Then I'm going to come over here with the wire grips again. I'm just going to hold it and try and make sure that these don't jump at all. So that's something I don't want to happen. So now that I've got them relatively tight together, just going to come back here. I'm just going to make sure they're nice and straight, or as straight as possible. And then, once I've got them as straight as possible, I'm going to pull them together nice and tight, and I'm going to now first make sure that they don't cross while doing this, if you can help it. And then I'm going to use this as my mediator for holding them together like this. And I noticed that the wire is definitely just a little bit bent in certain areas, so I'll want to come back with it as much as possible and straighten it out. And now I can safely use it as my wrap. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come down to about here on the wire, and I'm going to try to sorry guys, I'm noticing that it's just a little bit bent. Now that that's fixed as much as possible, we don't want it to bend at all, so we want it to be as straight as possible while doing this. And we just want to pull this taut. There we go. Okay, so now we got the two wires. We're going to line them side by side without twisting them, or without getting them twisted. There we go. And we're going to start about here. So we're going to line those two pieces up on the screwdriver. We're going to do first half wrap, then apparently sneeze. Then next we're going to hold these as tight as possible. That's 2 wraps right there. 3 half wraps. I'm just going to make sure I keep this nice and tight while doing it, because we do not want the 2 wires jumping around at all. I'm just going to lightly crimp it down with the screwdriver. Next, we're coming to that point where they've twisted a little bit. So now we want to hold it like this as much as possible. Guys, I can't stress enough how difficult this is, but it can be done. 4. Wrap number 4, guys. 5. And then number 6. Last wrap. Make sure that coil's nice and tight. And then kind of space it. Make sure that's not getting twisted anymore. You really don't want to twist it any more than you have already. Then finally, wrap number 7. Now this makes it a lot easier, guys, to make sure your wraps are even. And it's good to have at least 1 or 2 twists, in my opinion, in certain areas. So that means you can comfortably half turn it now so the coil is nice and even. Then you can come back in and space it out a little bit, because it's okay to have a little bit of spacing, and you'll notice that it's not as good as, or not as wide as the other one. So what I like to do is I like to go down 2 wraps and just kind of pull it apart ever so slightly. I don't want to have too much spacing though, so what I like to do is I'll come in with the tweezers about 2 wraps in, and I'll just try to space it, if you will. And I'll come in lightly, because I don't want to space it too much, but I do want some spaces in there for the wire. So I'll hold this piece down. Sorry about the background noise, guys. There are people working out there. It's kind of where I live. I live right out behind. Well, where I'm doing the video is out behind a collision center where people fix cars. So you know, you can't really do too much about it. So I'm just trying to make sure this thing spaces nicely. And now it's about the right length, so I'm going to trim the leads with my wire trims as far down as possible without making it a total pain to line up. I'm just going to cut those there, then I'm going to leave a little bit longer on one end so that I can get it in easier. There we go. And now you will have another parallel coil. So what I want to do here is I'm going to leave the longer end for the top half and the shorter end for the bottom. But what I'm noticing here is I kind of want to make it a little shorter. So I'm going to come in with my pliers and I'm just going to trim it about right about on. Just kind of measuring at this point. I'm eyeballing it and having a little bit of trouble. There we go. Okay. So now that I've got it eyeballed and whatnot, I'm going to use this smaller lead to go in after I put in the longer lead. So I'm going to hold these as tightly together as possible. And I'm going to loosen up this outer lead right here for my top piece. And yes, I do understand that it has a pre-wicked coil, and that was because I wasn't originally planning to do a build tutorial today, but that's okay because I already know pretty much everything that I need to do for this build, and that means that I am confident enough to go through with it. So now that I've got these two together, it's going to be a real simple matter to kind of... Oh, hold up. I do have to make sure that these two wires get held together as tightly as possible so that I'm not, whatchamacallit, not messing it up. Alright, so now we got those together. We're going to feed these two to this end right here. Then we're going to make sure that these two go in nice and smoothly. Hold up. One wire doesn't want to go in. There we go. Odd. Haven't had that happen before. There we go. Okay. So now we're going to come in here and tighten it down the first lead. Okay. Now we're going to come in this side, tighten down this lead, pull that nice and taut to the coil, as close to the edge as possible. Careful not to push that fire switch because you will burn yourself, you know the deal. Alright, now we're going to come in here and tidy things up. Alright, so we're noticing that there's some warping and bending in the coil, so we're going to come through here nice and simple and adjust our coil so it's nice and straight, nice and even. Not going to touch the outside at all. Just going to lightly tug at each end so it's nice and straight. There we go. Okay. Now let's see what this resistance is reading at. Ooh, 0.2. There we go. That's what we're looking for, baby. That's the money maker. Alright, so we got these parallel coils in. I'm just going to come in with my newfound wire snips, and I'm just going to cut as close as possible, or try to trim it as close as possible to that. So I got my grip. I'm just going to try and score those as much as possible to where they will just break apart. There we go. Okay, we got those spare coil, that second coil in there. And now we are ready to see how well this will work. So we're going to come in with our cotton now. This is the part where which I really like the most. And I always loved wicking a good coil. So I'm going to separate a good bit of cotton. And now I'm going to thin out, take off some of that excess material. Nothing, so I'm not having too thick of a wick here. I'm just going to pull apart. This is organic Japanese cotton, so I'm really happy about that. I like it, but I don't want it to be too thin, because this stuff can get pretty thin if you're not careful, and I don't want that. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to try and evenly distribute the cotton, and then I'm going to twist, as you guys all well know, twist my cotton nice and tiny so it'll go right through on the first try. There we go. We got that cotton all ready to go. Look at that. Nice and fluffy on the first try, guys. I'm really happy with that. Alright, so now we can come in here and trim just after the deck. Just a nice trimmy trim. There we go. Separate that. Give a nice trimmy trim right off the edge here. There we go. She's nice. Oh my word, look at that. I haven't seen such beautiful cotton in a while. So next we're going to come in here and just kind of stroke it, fluff it out. There we go. Okay, so we got that all nice and fluffed out, and it's about time to tuck that cotton right under. So we got that end fluffed out enough, so we're going to tuck this right down in there. And we're not going to leave too much space in here because we want this to look nice. So we got this ready to go right there. Now we're going to take this cotton Nice and fluffy. Absolute fluffy goodness for this cotton. And we're going to stick it and lightly tuck it nice and down into the bottom here. Got to make sure we have enough airflow so it's not too thick and not too thin at the same time. So we've got that right underneath, and we've got all our cotton in. So all it's really left to do now is juice it up. So why don't we do that right off the bat? And I like leaving a little bit of space in my cotton so that there is room to enjoy it. And that's just a starter drop just to kind of open the coils up. I'm going to be using my rock star to get it ready to go. There we go. Here we are. So we're going to take the rock star and put it on the already primed coil from before when I just had the single going. Then I'm going to come in here with this piece right here, the new coil and the new cotton. I'm just going to kind of soak it up and let it soak in. There we go. So now she's all soaked up and soaked in. I'm building on my Victory RDA. This is what I do for new coil builds and stuff like that. I'm going to take this out of the way because it's kind of messing me up. So we got this all set up, and it's starting to rain out there. How nice. Alright. So we've got this all wicked up and ready to go. So now we're going to give it its first real trial run. So I'm going to open this airflow all the way. And it's reading at a 0.25 resistance, 0.25 ohm resistance. Let's see what she does. Ooh, I like that. Okay, so we're going to bring you guys back down so you guys can see how well this looks. Alright guys, we're back underneath. I'm back from the dive down for a little bit, and now that we've got this all set up, I can show you guys exactly how well this worked out. So I'm really proud about how this turned out. I love the I love how well it fires. It fires nice from inside to outside, and we've got a lot. It's got a lot of good flavor, guys. I really am happy with how it came out. So I'm just gonna drip a little more liquid onto the coils here, and hope that it doesn't overflow. There we go. Now, as you guys know, always clean up your mess when you're done. So I'm going to wipe down my table real quick and make sure that all the liquid that has spilled from previous builds is nice and clean and cleaned up from. There we go. Okay, throw that away. And now we've got it all set up. So you can go check this out. So it's a really easy build, really simple. I'm really happy with it. I'm glad it reads at such a low resistance. All my other ones have been reading at really high resistances, and I'm pretty proud of it. So let's give a puff off this and show you guys how well it rips at, let's see, 80 watts. There we go. Nice 80 watt vape. Not bad. Okay, I'm going to turn the airflow down a good bit. Lukewarmish, not too hot, not too cold. All in all, a very simple, easy to build vape. I like that. Alright, so I'm going to take this off and set her down for later on. And then also what I'm going to do, while I'm at it, now that I've got this taken care of, I'm going to set my tobe down. I'm going to grab a blast from the past right here, my Freemax Fireloo, which definitely is in need of a change of flavor. I've been, last time I puffed on it, I wasn't too happy with the flavor that I had in it, and so I'm going to empty that out real quick. And I'm going to blow off some of that excess vapor. There we go. Okay, so now I'm going to fill it up with, Snake Eyes seems a pretty good flavor. I like that flavor a lot. Oh yeah, definitely. Okay, I'm going to take my Snake Eyes and fill her right up. There we go. I'm going to just put a bit in there and mix it with, oh, I know what to do. I'm going to grab a little bit of a blast from the past of my birthday cake ice cream. So I'm going to I've filled that tank about halfway with the snake eyes, and then I'm going to grab my birthday cake ice cream. Still smells really good. I like this flavor a lot. I use it as a side though. I don't really vape it directly. So I'm going to grab a good bit of that and fill up the tank the rest of the way with it. Make it a little easier. So that it will fill up and hopefully taste a good bit better. Because the last time I was vaping on my Falcon tank, it just didn't taste as good at all. There we go. She's got that all filled up and ready to go. I'm going to put that juice back, and now hopefully it will wick up quite nicely. Okay, so we got it all set up. Let's see if this is a good flavor. Not bad. Although, now what I'm noticing about this flavor is, yeah, I don't know what it is. I haven't been using my tank as much, and my tanks as much, because I don't really like it. I don't like my tanks as much anymore. So I'm gonna kind of set that off to the side and put my toe batty back on and enjoy it from there. Because the flavor's a lot better. I'm turning it back down to 66.6. There we go, to finish up this video. So in any case, guys, it's been a really long time in coming trying to do that dual parallel coil build, and I was just really happy I was able to do it, because I haven't really tried it before. So, oh, these are some excess wires that I'm going to hold on to, because I don't really, they're long, and they should be able to get a good few wraps out of it. Hey, honey.
Hi.
How are you?
I'm fine.
Not bad. We were working on a puzzle earlier today of the New York Times, and it just hi, honey buddy. And we had a little bit of trouble with it. We've stopped about halfway. Okay. And so what we're going to be doing is trying to finish that later on. But thanks so much, guys, for checking out the video. It's been a real pleasure doing it for you guys. And until next time, I'm your host, Michael Cobb, and these have been the Visual Vapor Reviews. Peace, guys.